I think I have been playing guitar for about 7 years now, but I have been playing guitar in orchestra for about two. I remember that I began really frightened because I felt like I didn't know anything about classical music, and there was this constant uncertainty about what's the next measure, am I counting right? Is there something that I'm doing wrong? Am I off beat? And just lots of questions as a freshman. But my second year, I was assigned as the rhythm section leader, and that really stood out to me. I think I developed a character of leadership, and it was a responsibility that was laid upon me, which I gladly took, and I think it's one of the most transformative things I've done at Moody. So I grew up in Honduras, in a small town called La Union Lempira. There are mountains full of coffee fields. I learned guitar because there was a missionary couple who was investing in the community, and they told me that they had a few guitars and they could teach me. And maybe for the wrong reasons, I started to learn guitar. And little by little, I was also drawn into Bible studies and fellowship that they held at their house. And along with learning guitar, I feel like I also learned about the gospel and was drawn into the story that Jesus had for my life through music. One of my favorite memories with orchestra, I feel, is when we do the banquets or when we do Christmas parties. I think that after so much rehearsals and so many hours of just being seated and sight reading, it's so rewarding to just sit with your friends and cherish all the moments of just struggling. My favorite memories are those that include my favorite people at orchestra and people that I've drawn close to, whether because of really good music that we hear together or hard conversations that have built our friendships. Dr. Maddox once said that in life there are a lot of sevenths. If you know a little bit about music theory, you will acknowledge that sevenths by themselves do not sound very good. In fact, they can be very dissonant. I remember Dr. Maddox once saying that in life we will have a lot of sevenths, and that might sound dissonant in the harmony that we're trying to make in our story, but ultimately God is the one leading that melody and that harmony, and He will use those dissonants and those sevenths and those thirds to be able to make this beautiful harmony. And I feel like that has always been a motive for me in life. I've always stayed with that. I feel a moment that impacted me spiritually throughout my career in the Moody Orchestra has been going to Greece this past March. It was a tremendous experience where we were able to prove ourselves in everything that we had been practicing for months. It represented a lot of discipline and tenacity and a lot of hardships as well. In my career in Moody, I had never had to experience a trip where you had to take so many instruments and deal with so many problems with the airline, as well as lots of traveling, going on the bus for hours, having long conversations with people, and just being able to connect. I think spiritually that was one of the most forming things that I've done with the Moody Orchestra so far, and I don't think I can thank enough all the people that I was able to befriend, all the conversations that really built me up and helped me reflect on the sovereignty of God, as well as His faithfulness in my life through music, coming from a different background than a lot of the people I played with, and being able to connect even though we come from so many different places and so many stories behind us. But I think one of the most memorable things for me is just knowing that despite the differences, music makes us unique and makes us connect in a different way. People don't realize what a formative experience it has been for me to be in orchestra. I do stay for the community, but music really is the glue that keeps us together, specifically if it's to glorify God. We play from all ranges, from contemporary to classical, and besides feeding my hunger for learning more about music, it also helps me to appreciate how the Lord unites the body of Christ with different parts, yet all the same goal, to be able to glorify Him. Our logo in orchestra is to love each other and make a beautiful sound. And I think it's so true, reflecting the friendships and just the good community that we have in orchestra. God has been using Moody Campus Orchestra to teach me about leadership and discipline and being able to perform well with a group of people that are very different than you. And I think that's something that's everlasting, as I'll continue facing people who are very different. But by being in orchestra, I feel like I have this developed ability to connect better through music. I just think it's awesome how I have been able to meet so many people with so many different callings.